guys, it's Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So today we are going to be talking all about the new Too Faced Peanut Butter and Honey eyeshadow palette. We all know Too Faced always comes out with these cute but slightly gimmicky little palettes here, like their original Peanut Butter and Jelly palette, which is probably what inspired this peanut butter and honey palette. I picked this palette up from Ulta.com for $36. I don't know if it was kind of like a pre-sale type thing or if they just launched it earlier at Ulta. I haven't seen it at Sephora or any other stores yet, but I'm sure it'll show up at some point. I will be perfectly honest with you guys. I purchased this palette solely for the purpose to do this review video because I wasn't super interested in it to begin with. Too Faced has really been letting me down with a lot of their recent eyeshadow palette releases. I feel like they're just cranking out really cutely packaged, cute marketed products with a very subpar quality formula. It's a problem we've seen in a lot of different brands, like when MAC used to crank out collection after collection, and where the collections used to be very cute and they would do a lot of collabs with adorable packaging, the quality of the product itself was not really up to par. So because of that, and because I know Too Faced's quality of the actual product has been a little hit and miss for me lately, I went into this with very low expectations, and I'm kind of glad I did, because just to kind of sum up this review video, I'm not crazy about this palette. I will go ahead and talk about everything, the texture, the price for quantity. I'll show you guys full palette swatches. I'm also going to show you guys a palette that I think is similar in color range, but much better quality. So let's go ahead and jump right into the in-depth review. This is what the outer packaging of the palette itself looks like. Very cute. Too Faced never disappoints with their actual packaging quality. I think it's always adorable. It is in their tin style packaging, which I do like. The palette just opens up. It is held shut with a magnet, and then you do get this kind of look card here that does pop out. Once you pop out the card, you get a tiny little baby mirror here, which I'll be honest is a little useless. And then you do get 9 different shadows. 3 of them are in the larger pans, 6 of them are in the smaller pans. Very quickly, I'll just go ahead and show you guys this look card here. There are 3 different looks that can kind of help inspire you to use this palette, and there are step-by-step instructions on the back. I do like that Too Faced kind of includes this little insert in all of their palettes, particularly for beginners or for anybody who's not really sure how to put colors like this together, because while for the most part this is a very neutral palette, you are incorporating like a yellow, which isn't a very common eyeshadow color. You can see the overall layout of this eyeshadow palette is similar to all of the other 9-pan shadow palettes Too Faced has. The 3 bigger pans are all in the lightest shade, which I'll be perfectly honest, I really don't like that Too Faced does that in most of their palettes, because I will never use up this much product of a highlight shade. I really do wish they would put one highlight shade, one kind of transition shade, and then maybe one like lid, like shimmery lid shade. I feel like those are the shades most of us use the most. I will never go through 3 very light colors like this. So here are swatches of all 9 of the colors you get in the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Honey palette. From left to right, we have Creamed Honey, Peanut Butter, Going Nuts, Bee Sweet, Honey Brittle, Bee's Knees, Queen Bee, Honey Buns, and Feelin' Nutty. Every clustering of 3 that you can see is kind of the quote-unquote look that's supposed to go together. Too Faced kind of outlines that in their palette as well, like these 3 are supposed to go together, these 3, and then these 3. Obviously, you can use the palette how you choose, but overall, just based in the swatches, you guys can see that for the most part, the light shades are very average, the medium shades are decent, and then the darkest shades in each of the rows are definitely the best. And this is just talking mainly in terms of pigmentation, not necessarily in terms of texture. In terms of the textures of the shadows you're getting in this palette, most of them are matte. There are a couple that have a matte base, like this one, and this one that have a chunky glitter in them, which does not really translate onto the eyes. And then there's only one true like shimmery shade, which is this one up here. This one down here has a little bit of like a satin finish. It's not fully metallic or anything. For the most part, we have a pretty matte palette is what I would say. Honestly, I don't think any of these colors really stand out as being phenomenal in terms of quality or uniqueness. In terms of the actual texture of the shadows, the mattes are really, really powdery. They're very, very thin. This one over here, Bee's Knees, which is a matte base with that gold chunky glitter that doesn't really show up. This one has phenomenal pigmentation, as does this metallic color up here. And then these two down here were pretty decent as well. The lightest shades were all kind of iffy. This one up here was the worst. That one's called Creamed Honey. Basically what I'm saying is the quality of these shadows is very, very hit and miss. Some of them are very good, some of them are average, some of them are very disappointing. In a palette that only has 9 colors, it's really sad to see that because I mean, when you only have this many shades to play with, you want every single one to be a knockout. In terms of the actual looks you're gonna get with this palette, for the most part, you're gonna get pretty light to medium looks. The darkest shade in here is this color up here, but that one is metallic. So I haven't found that to be super useful to kind of darken out the outer corner or anything. For my tan complexion, I'm honestly not crazy about this palette at all. There are just too many light shades. The medium shades are okay, and there aren't really any dark colors. So I find this palette not very versatile. I was definitely expecting a lot more out of this palette. I do prefer the peanut butter and jelly palette over this one. I tried digging through my collection to look for the peanut butter and jelly palette, and I have absolutely no idea where I put it. I know I still own it because I did like that palette quite a bit, but I cannot find it for the life of me. Now for the palette that I think is really similar to this, but the quality of it is so much better. And if you already own this other palette, you pretty much have every single shade that comes in this palette in a much better formula, and that is the Viseart Warm Matte palette. This is a newer Viseart eyeshadow palette, and I know what you guys are probably gonna say to me, Eshani, Viseart is not even in a similar price range to the Too Faced. While yes, it's true, this palette up front is a much, much higher price tag than the Peanut Butter and Honey palette. This is $36, this is $80. So I do understand it's a lot more to swallow, but the quality of these shadows is absolutely superior, a million times superior to the Too Faced. Let me just give you guys a quick side-by-side of these two palettes so you can see. The Peanut Butter and Honey palette does have 9 shades, whereas the Viseart Warm Matte does have 12. So you are getting more colors in the Viseart, but I mean, you're getting a very, very similar yellow. You're getting very similar warm orangey tones. Oh, and the one other gimmicky thing about this one, not only the cute packaging, but it also does smell like honey. Yeah, it kind of has like a slight peanut butter, sweet peanut butter scent. It does smell pretty good, but once again, not really enough of a reason for me to purchase. Now let's go ahead and do a price breakdown just so you guys can see exactly how much of a value you're getting in this. And I'll go ahead and do a price breakdown on the Viseart as well. So in the Peanut Butter and Honey palette, you are getting 3 shadows, which are these larger shadows here that have 2 grams of product. And then you're also getting these 6 smaller pans that have 0.9 grams of product. That means total in this palette, you're getting 11.4 grams of product. That means that you are paying $3.16 per gram for this palette. And just to give you guys a comparison with the Viseart Warm Matte palette, this is an $80 palette. So up front, you're definitely paying a lot more out of pocket, but you are getting 24 grams of shadow in this palette. That means that you are paying $3.33 per gram in this palette. So $3.16 per gram versus $3.33 per gram. You're not paying that much more of a premium for the Viseart shadows. Not that I think these are necessarily comparable because of the price, but if you were looking at this one and you thought, oh, this is cute, let me buy this one, just save your $36 on this and put it closer to this palette, because this is one that has much better quality, much better color range, and one that I think you guys will use and appreciate a lot more. Just my complete and honest opinion. No, Viseart did not send this to me. No, it's not sponsored. It's just something that I noticed, and there are some overlapping shades. So there you guys have it. That is my complete review and thoughts on the new Too Faced Peanut Butter and Honey palette. I don't really see myself purchasing a lot of Too Faced eyeshadow palettes in the future, just because I've been so disappointed with a lot of their recent releases. But if there's something that's overhyped, you guys know that I'm gonna come on here and tell it to you guys how it is. So please don't forget to thumbs up this video if you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think of this palette in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell button if you guys want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will talk to you guys in my next video on Monday. I will see you then. Bye.